And good morning, everybody. Welcome, Hot Takes Goodman and Haertl. Bruce, the weekend is upon us. One more preseason game, and then it's a horizon line ahead, which is 17 regular season games.
Yeah, it all really gets going with the cut down. 37 players will get some form of movement on the roster or other rosters, so that will obviously be very interesting. Very interesting to me was how your event went last night, because I know that this was one that you were really looking forward to.
Yeah, I really enjoy working with One World Surgery. They're a great organization that started a hospital, a clinic. I mean, it's a major production, what they put together. They started in Honduras, and then they opened one in the Dominican Republic. And the people that they help, who ordinarily would get no help at all, what they have done is saint-like, and they have people from all over the United States doing brigades, constant brigades down there. Wow. Helping those people, certainly not doing the surgery, but the volunteers help cook and help clean up the operating room and do all kinds of things just to help people that they've never met. And they help people who aren't Americans. And to me, that is the truest form of patriotism, helping your own, but willing to help others. With that, I want to tell you about Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos in Blackhawk. They have another great promotion coming up, giving away this time a Ford Maverick Tremor truck or over $25,000 in cash. This will be the weekend of October 24th. Daily cash drawings every 45 minutes, 10 a.m. until midnight. Players can earn daily entries with every locked up jackpot or by redeeming players' points on their players' cards. Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos, a family-owned casino that treats you like family with loose slots, great promotions, and outstanding food. Time now for the lead.
The lead is presented by Sasquatch Casino, a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
Final preseason game is tomorrow night against the New Orleans Saints. First team offense is expected to play at least 8 to 10 plays. What does that look like? That could be one series. Maybe it's two series. If it's the San Francisco 49ers game, it's 3 series in which they only had a field goal to show for it. So, will your opinion of the offense change if they come out, start moving the ball, and score a touchdown? Or if they don't, are you thinking, ooh, this is now 2 preseason stinkers in a row for the first team offense?
No, only because you got to take the whole thing cumulatively. I mean, we've spent a lot of days out there watching really good offense, and then some days watching not as good of offense. A lot of it has to do with the defense that they're facing, no question about it. They both had the offense on 2 particular occasions in shared practices with teams were extremely good to dominant to extremely good. So those are things that you've got to take into account as well. But Eric, I would be less than truthful if I said I didn't want to see them have a little rhythm, just a little rhythm. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, winning and losing the last exhibition game isn't that big a deal, but and you can get by with units not looking particularly good. But I think that Sean Payton puts value into these types of efforts. And even if it's going to be only a couple of series, I think he wants to play well in those 2 series. So, yeah, I'm looking for a little rhythm. I think Bo Nix would love to have a couple of things go well. It isn't mandatory, but I think it would probably set the table for the next couple of weeks in their preparation for the regular season, just a little bit nicer.
At the risk of insulting anyone who truly enjoys a pint of vanilla ice cream, here's my analogy. The Broncos are going to be playing a vanilla offense, but the goal is to have a hot fudge sundae. When the regular season begins, they're going to take the vanilla that they have tomorrow night and add on hot fudge and maybe some crushed nuts and maybe some chocolate sprinkles. Throw on a little whipped cream, cherry on top. For their opener against Tennessee, they're breaking out the whole Sunday. We're going to find out on a Sunday if that Sunday is any good. Let's not judge the Sunday with just one ingredient, which is the vanilla ice cream.
Yeah, well said, and a pretty good comp and an analogy. I would say that you just want. They spent about 10 minutes, 15 minutes maybe yesterday actually doing a bit of an install.
That's kind of like our show, Bruce. We spend maybe 10, 15 minutes prepping for the show, and this is the shit that we put together.
A lot of vanilla takes. Oh, damn it.
Right.
Anyway, so when we say they schemed, because you're right, the vanilla is the flavor of the preseason. You don't want to show things. I mean, you wanted to get Evan Ingram in the game last week because you wanted him to get a touch. And they ran just a little naked bootleg with the tight end dragging across, and it worked great. Good. You checked a box. Maybe they're trying to check a box tomorrow with something or other, so they put a little 15-minute install in, basically using the placards up in the offensive huddle so guys could see. So you're almost like doing an NFL version of sketching out some plays in the dirt to run specific to New Orleans. But yeah, you're right. I mean, they got a lot of time between now and their opening game, and they will do a lot of work, obviously, on the offense, which will look nothing like it has here in the preseason, except the fundamental, hey, we're trying to run outside zone. We'll see some of that tomorrow. They're going to try to run some outside zone. So there are fundamentals of this offense that we will see all season long that we've already started to see. This is when you want to line up and just beat a team because you're better than them.
By the time we huddle up again on Monday, I'm guessing more than a few cuts will be made as the Broncos need to whittle down their roster to 53 on Monday. And, the deadline is, sometime in the afternoon. With that, famously, there was a preseason game, Denver Broncos in Tokyo, and Terrell Davis made one huge play on special teams, and everybody's jaws dropped to the floor. Do you think there is anybody on this current roster that is considered a bubble guy that can make a Terrell Davis play and then go and slide to the right side of the bubble? Or has everything pretty much been baked in the cake by now?
I mean, I think the cake is largely ready to go. I'm not sure the icing is on it yet. I don't know if the decorations are quite there, to use one of your analogies. For me to identify a player, you almost hope that they're at the point now where they're probably trying to hide a couple of guys. They're like 80, Joaquin Davis. We've talked about him a little bit.
Yeah.
Rangy, big receiver. Dropped a pass yesterday that I would have liked to have seen him catch, but be that as it may, he's a long, rangy guy with a big catch radius, small school guy, North Carolina A&T, I think. I've got that right. His route tree is probably very, very limited, so he's a work in progress, but he's a real athletic guy that I think they like. So I'll be interested to see whether he even plays tomorrow night. I mean, because now you've got the added dimension, Eric, of making sure that you can get some guys through waivers that you really want to get through waivers. And so you don't want a Joe McLaughlin type thing where at San Francisco 3 years ago or 2 years ago, where he went out and rushed for 128 yards. And it was like, well, hell, you had to put him on the 53 because someone was going to jump on that on waivers. Everyone needs to remember when we're talking about waivers is when you take a guy off waivers, you've got to put him on your 53.
Right.
So that it gives the Broncos hopefully some latitude to get the guys that they want to get back for that 17-man practice squad.
Now, there is a history with Sean Payton being on a team where a guy did make the roster on the final preseason game. He talked about it at yesterday's press conference. There was a guy by the name of Brashear Livingston. He returned a kickoff for a touchdown, and they were debating on whether I'm keeping him or somebody else. And Wellington Mara, the owner of the Giants, said, hey, listen, we should probably keep a guy who can score points for us. And Brashear Livingston wound up making the team. So he flashed in the final game. So there is a possibility of that happening. I just think it's kind of rare. With that, Peyton addressed Devaughn Vele for the first time at his press conference yesterday. Said there were two teams who were serious about trading for Vele. They were not trying to shop him. You know, they got some calls, and Peyton admitted it was a tough trade to make. He said 90% of all trades that he makes or he has been a part of are easy ones. He said this was a difficult one. And the only time he said he ever truly regretted making a trade was for Darren Sproles when he was the head coach in New Orleans. They traded away Darren Sproles, and he said he regretted it. Do you think the Broncos will regret trading Vele?
No, I don't think so. And I don't think so because of the offer that was too good to pass up. Now, look, you hope that the player goes and has great success. And I think on a team like New Orleans that is in need of big receivers for an offense and a football team that probably is at a pretty low ebb right now. Right. I think that he can be a really valuable piece in them starting to build their franchise back up to relevance and competitiveness. So you hope that that's the case for Devaughn Vele, who, according to Sean, took the news very, very well because I think he sees the opportunity.
Right.
He hasn't had the type of camp that he, I think, would have liked to have had. He's been bumped up and bruised a little bit. So obviously he's going to get healthy. But once you got the impression, Eric, that if it had been just one team, the ante doesn't get up to a 4 and a 7. Once a 4 was on the table for this player who they had used a 7th round pick with, and you were getting the 7th round pick as well back, that to me becomes an absolute no-brainer as long as you can answer the questions. Do we have enough talent and depth in our receiving room to handle a loss like this? And the answer is clearly yes. So I think it was a good deal for the player, and I think it might be even a better deal for the Broncos.
The Broncos got less in return for Jerry Jeudy. Think about that for a second.
Right.
They got less in
Think
return.
about it.
The Chiefs just traded one of their wide receivers. The Chiefs got less in return than the Broncos got for Devaughn Vele.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know. I'm not asking you to be a tiebreaker on this, but I think you're not more of a, but you're definitely a voice of reason. To me, you are very measured. That's why I value your opinion. I do a show on Guerrilla Sports with Nate Jackson called Going Deep, and we had this conversation, which I'm about to share with you. Nate Jackson and I talked about this, and he wasn't crazy about the trade. He felt the Broncos should have kept him because he is a piece, and he's reliable, and he's a good blocker, and he's a good teammate, all of those things. Tell me if I'm wrong when I said what I said. I said Devaughn Vele does a lot of things well, and I get it. But he's a Jag. He is just another guy. He is not special, but he's a valuable guy to your team. To you, is Devaughn Vele a Jag? It's not a knock. He plays in the NFL. No one's a Jag when you play in the NFL. But there are different levels of players at certain positions.
I think that Devaughn Vele is easy to like because of his size, and he is a really good pass catcher downfield. It's not even arguable that he had the best catch in camp all of last year, did it right in front of you and I, and he has had great catches downfield this season. In fact, that is the catch from last year. Eric and I were standing literally right there. He came down right in front of us. So he is a guy that when he flashes impressively. And everybody likes Devaughn Vele. Everyone likes him. they have a room that can sustain a move like this, in my opinion. Now, can they start having injuries and things like that? No. That is the depth in the room as good as it was 48 hours ago? No, it's not. But sometimes you just have to take chances on things that you think can make you a better team down the road. Getting a 4th-round draft pick for a guy that I don't think that you were even sure about where he was going to play in the rotation, with the increased ability of Troy Franklin now very much a factor for this receiving group. When you get a 4th-round pick for a guy that you used a 7 on, and you're getting the 7 back as well, I just don't see how the Broncos could have passed it up. And that's with all due respect to Nate's opinion, which I totally respect.
Here are my reasonings why they had to and should have made this trade, for sure. Number one, you are not going to win a Super Bowl because of Devaughn Vele. He's going to help. He's going to make plays for you. You're going to win a Super Bowl because of Bo Nix, because of Benito, because of Allen, because of RJ Harvey. Let's see what happens with him. I can give you a long list. You're not winning a Super Bowl because of Devaughn Vele, although he will help, right? So that's my first thing. Right. My second thing is this. This is why you have to do this deal. The Broncos, specifically Peyton and Peyton, have shown now a 2-year history. They can draft the guy at wide receiver in the 2nd round. It will work out with, we think, with Mims. You can draft Franklin. You can draft Bryant. Hell, you could draft a guy in the 7th round. The fucking guy's going to work. That's Devaughn Vele. So my point is that they have shown a history. They put enough equity in the bank that if they lose Vele, now they have a 4th-round pick to find another wide receiver if they want one. It seems like they've taken a wide receiver in just about every round except for the 1st round. They have a track record of being able to spot talent. That's why getting a 4th to me is so valuable. It'd be great to have Devaughn Vele on this team. And yes, you want to be loaded for bear if you are talking about Super Bowl. But sometimes you have to think ahead. Devaughn Vele, I think, and I could be wrong, and I'm curious to know what you think, I think there would have been some games where he is deactivated.
Yeah.
Because Sherfield is going to be on the roster for special teams. He will be your 5th wide receiver in theory. Now you got to pick your top 4. They're not keeping all 6 guys on the active roster. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Remember, Peyton and Peyton in the last 3 years have drafted receivers in the 2nd, Mims, 3rd, Bryant, 4th round, Troy Franklin. All 3 of them are starting level rotational receivers that are going to play a lot of snaps on this football team. And then in Evan Engram, they've got a guy that probably will get more targets than any receiver all season long. I think he'll be their 2nd leading receiver, but I would say that he is the number of times that he is going to get targeted, I think is going to be pretty remarkable. So we'll see. Yeah.
One more quick thing. I've heard people talk about this. I'm not saying it's accurate. I'm not saying I agree. You could also make the case we're just making shit up because it's a podcast. But that's not the tenor of why I'm asking this question. Jarrett Stidham has played incredibly well during the preseason. I haven't seen a lot of quarterbacks go down so far in the preseason where there are quarterback needy teams. But if a team said to the Broncos, we'll give you a 4th-round pick for Stidham, would you take it?
You start tantalizing. The carrot looks better at the end of the stick when you're talking about a 4th, but right now, how much faith do you have in Sam Ehlinger? Because
not enough.
Really, probably not enough for me. And that's not to say that Sam Ehlinger doesn't have some Bo Nix looks in him. I mean, he likes to be mobile and throw the ball on the fly and stuff, but he's a long way from Bo Nix. You can win. You have to be able to ask yourself the question in the affirmative, can we win games with Sam Ehlinger in the absence of Bo Nix for a period of time? Then apply the same question to Jarrett Stidham. The answer to Jarrett Stidham is, yeah, you can weather the storm with Jarrett Stidham. I don't think there's any question about that. Can you weather the storm if it's a protracted storm with a guy like Sam Ehlinger? It's no rub on Sam Ehlinger.
Right.
I just haven't seen enough to be definitive about a statement. I am pretty sure that we can make that statement with Jarrett Stidham. So, the fourth is probably not enough for me.
Not all trades are the same, even if it's for the same compensation. Devaughn Vele, I would think, will likely have a better career than Jarrett Stidham. Devaughn Vele is a more valuable player to the Broncos than Stidham because Vele is going to play, or Vele would have played, and he's going to make contributions. Stidham's greatest contribution this year will be not playing. You don't want him out there. No knock on him. The Vele thing, you have all kinds of depth where you can absorb that type of trade. Vele is not a safety blanket. Stidham is the ultimate safety blanket with the way he has played so far in the preseason. I'm not trading away my safety net for a fourth-round pick in case things go off the rails and the quarterback gets injured for like 5 games.
Yeah, you've got to have – every team looks for an insurance policy, and that's what the Broncos have on Jarrett Stidham, a really nice insurance policy, and the most important kind that any football team can have. Confidence in their backup, right? Confidence in their backup. The rest of the roster is the rest of the roster, and you point out very well the whole thing about the depth in the receiving room. But quarterback is a premium, and you got to have a good insurance policy, and I think they've got one in Jarrett Stidham.
Let me dumb this down. As I said, I don't believe you're winning a Super Bowl because of Devaughn Vele. You trade a luxury. You don't trade a necessity. And with that necessity, you hope you don't need it as much as anything else. Yeah. Coming up after the break, did the NFL collude on Shedeur Sanders? Did they all talk amongst yourselves and say, don't draft this guy? A Hall of Famer is claiming that's exactly what the NFL did. Who is it? That's next. Everyone has their favorite sports bar. Mine, the Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch in the DTC. Both locations are everything a sports bar should be. An upscale menu with 12 different burgers, outstanding wings, and my favorite, the Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. They've got every game on the NFL Sunday Ticket, MLB Extra Innings, NHL Center Ice, NBA League Pass, plus soccer, rugby, and UFC. Sportsbook is a hangout bar or great for private parties. The Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, the DTC, and coming soon to Parker. They are the sports bar.
Ferguson's Heating and Cooling is the best in Denver, and their customers agree. Ferguson's has 165 5-star Google reviews, and here's one from Betsy. Highly professional, prompt, and honest. I switched to Ferguson's when I became aware my former company was trying to sell me a whole new system I didn't need. Ferguson's is an honest, working, family-owned business that'll give you a fair price, the highest quality parts and equipment, and they always show up on time. You can trust the Ferguson family like you trust your own family. Go to fergusonsheatingandcooling.com.
Everyone has their favorite barbecue spot. Mine, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. My favorites, slowly smoked ribs, smoked corned beef Reuben, smoked meatloaf with a portobello balsamic cream sauce. And don't forget about Smokin' Dave's 16-hour smoked brisket and pork with one of their 4 homemade barbecue sauces. Great sides, you bet. Barbecue beans made with pork and brisket and their southern corned bake. Man, you gotta try it. Plus, they have amazing non-barbecue entrees on the menu. Go where I go, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew in North Denver.
Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos in Blackhawk have another incredible promotion. They'll be giving away a Ford Maverick Tremor truck or over $25,000 in cash the weekend of October 24th. Daily cash drawings are every 45 minutes between 10 a.m. and midnight. Players can earn daily entries with every locked-up jackpot or by redeeming players' points on their players' cards. Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos, loose slots, phenomenal promotions, great food, and a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
Spice up your next night out at Nola Jane and Lodo. Authentic Cajun cuisine like andouille sausage gumbo with dirty rice, crawfish etouffee, as well as 6 different po' boys like soft-shell crab and shrimp. Come in before or after a game at Ball Arena. Host a party or party on their rooftop deck overlooking Market Street during happy hour from 11 a.m. to 5. Plus, Nola Jane caters, delivers, and the kitchen is open late night. Make Nola Jane your new favorite spot to eat, drink, and party like it's Mardi Gras.
Ever wondered where city and county fleet vehicles go when they retire? Now's your chance to find out and score big. Imagine driving away with a great deal on a reliable vehicle. For over 45 years, Roller Auction has been the trusted source for government fleet vehicles and equipment. Trucks, SUVs, sedans, and more, all selling to the highest bidder. Don't miss out. Visit roller.bid/hot takes to get auction updates today. Your next vehicle could be just a click away.
And welcome back. Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. Time now for What's Trending.
What's Trending is presented by Nola Jane in the heart of Lodo. No one does Cajun cuisine better than Nola Jane. Go see why their award-winning menu is the best in town.
Eric Dickerson, Hall of Fame running back, is not a guy who stirs it up. He is not a talking head on ESPN. He is not a Pac-Man Jones. He is not a Michael Irvin, who both guys are clearly in the Sanders camp. So let's just get that out of the way. So this story that came out yesterday came out of nowhere.
And I'll tell you this much here, what I heard from someone that's in the NFL, that the NFL told other, don't draft him. Do not draft him. We're gonna make an example out of him. And this came from a very good source. And he said that, I won't say who, somebody called the Cleveland Browns and said, don't do that. Draft
really?
him. Yep, draft him. Don't do that. Because they weren't gonna draft him either. They weren't gonna draft him.
Albert Breer, who was on that call with the Dan Patrick Show, refuted this, said there's no evidence to this. I don't believe it. What if it is true? What if this is true?
I don't, it's hard for me to get there because I don't see, it makes no sense to me on any level. Make an example of him for what? First of all, what is the example to be made of? And secondly, do we really think that teams in the NFL, if they can draft not only a player that can make them better, but a quarterback that can make them better, isn't going to just do it? Damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. This just doesn't sound right to me. But if we're going to suspend my belief, obviously anything that the league does or the ownership does in the league to collude for whatever reason against a player, a family, I mean, those are things that need to be taken seriously. To me, this just is nonsensical. Makes no sense.
Well, the premise behind what he said was this, talking about Dickerson. He said the reason why the NFL did it was they wanted to basically tell Deion Sanders, you don't get to choose the teams that you want to go to. That was the reasoning, as much as anything else. So this all comes back to Daddy again. And we know why he slipped. There are a number of teams that didn't feel he was worthy of being a first-round pick. And then there was the stories that came out of the New York Giants organization that he was difficult, so on and so forth. I hope for Shedeur Sanders' case, this is not true. But this has lawsuit written all over it. and this has to be provable as well. Collusion is a very big deal. That is a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. Now,
Right.
if there is a lawsuit, what kind of numbers would Shedeur Sanders be asking for? Mason Graham, who's taken 5th overall by the Browns, got $40 million. I would think that's as high as Shedeur Sanders can ask for, but that's certainly not. Let's not assume the Browns were going to take him at number 5 overall. If this is the case, it is a shame. But unfortunately, this whole Shedeur Sanders thing is like the Tim Tebow thing. Oh, you don't like Tim Tebow as a quarterback? You hate Christians. Oh, you don't like Shedeur Sanders? You hate black people. You're keeping a black man down. You know, he shouldn't be able to speak his mind. I'll tell you one thing that is really perpetuated, and it was already there going into the draft, and it was already there with the Cleveland Browns when he was eventually drafted by the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns, in my opinion, and I could be way off on this, you tell me. You've covered the Chiefs and you've covered the Broncos.
Right.
I have covered the Chiefs, Broncos, Bears, and Bills. I think the whole thing with Shedeur Sanders has been fueled by, even more so, I should say, by how he played in that opening preseason game. But also, I cannot imagine the Denver Broncos PR staff allowing their 3rd-string quarterback, their 4th-string quarterback, to stand at a podium. All you're doing is fueling this every single time he gets up there. If a reporter wants to talk to a guy on the side, that's one thing. But you're putting him up on a podium. And with the way it works with the Broncos, if you want to request a player in training camp, it's not like it used to be where you could grab anybody coming off the field. It's far more regimented. And you can request a guy, and maybe they'll bring him over to the side. But the Broncos, if this was Deion Sanders, they'd say, no, you're not talking to our 3rd-string guy. Not at all.
No.
The Browns PR department has messed this up too.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
By the way, let me say something before I get accused of being a white supremacist, like I have been in the past. And I own the white hood, and I cut out eyelids, and I hate black people suddenly. By me just saying what I said, I'm basically saying to the Broncos, to the Browns PR staff, keep the black man down. Keep him down. Don't let him talk. That's not what I mean. It has nothing to do with the color of his skin. It has everything to do with where he is on the depth chart. And the Denver Broncos would not put themselves in that position to keep adding logs to the fire of the more he is the story.
Didn't the Cleveland Browns give Deshaun Watson $230 million guaranteed dollars?
Yeah, they hate
I'm
black
just trying to
quarterbacks.
make sure that I understand the Browns and the history that they have. Look, I will just say this. The NFL, to me, is the most, of all of the things that I've done in my 40 plus years in this business, there is no league, there is no place that is more about the player helping the team to win than the NFL. That's not to say that it's not that way in the NBA and Major League Baseball. It's just different. It's a 18-week season. 17 games are played in it. Every game is gold. And you are doing everything that you can to win a football game every week in this league so that you can get to the playoffs and have a chance to get to a Super Bowl. That is what fuels every single one of these 32 teams. You don't pass on players that can help you in that cause. You just don't. You don't pass on players that can give you a chance to gain that upper hand or that footing to be a better football team. So I don't get it. I think it's interesting. I would probably have, based on the 2 games that I've seen, and call me, find something better to do with your life, but I've watched both of the Browns' first 2 exhibition games. And I would probably have Shedeur Sanders starting. If you're going to give Joe Flacco a couple of snaps this weekend, fine, great, no problem. I get it. He's your number 1 guy, and you've made that determination. But I would think that Shedeur Sanders, but this is only based on what we've seen in that 1 game. Shedeur Sanders, unless he's done it this week, he started the week with 0 reps with the ones, 0 reps. So I'm a little surprised that he's not maybe the second guy right now, but you know what? That's up to Kevin Stefanski and the Browns to figure out. The whole conspiracy theory right now, I'm simply not buying.
I'm not buying it at all either. Listen, I'm not a big Kevin Stefanski fan. He is a 2-time coach of the year. Let him run his team.
Right.
Please. I mean, if Kevin Stefanski was a racist, Myles Garrett wouldn't be on the team. Right? If the Browns were a racist organization, they wouldn't have, to your point, given, Deshaun Watson all of that money. The fail-safe for anybody who's looking to pick a fight is you're racist. You're racist. You don't like the answer somebody gives you? Oh, you're racist. I was accused of that by somebody when I was at Fox 31. Okay, many, many years ago, well before you got there. A guy and I were having a conversation, pretty nice conversation, and out of nowhere, he's told me I said the N-word to him. Okay, this is Fox 31.
Wow.
Fox 31. And I looked at him and I said, you want to go down that road? Let's march up to the GM's office right now and let's clear this whole thing up. Don't ever accuse me of that. Let's go up there now. And he backed off quickly on me. Just because you don't get your way doesn't mean the other person is a racist. Just because you don't get your way doesn't mean that people hate Christians.
Right.
Maybe you have a legitimate opinion about it. But if somebody doesn't agree with your opinion, you don't go to DEFCON 1 and say, well, you're this. It's such a lazy argument. It's kind of like going back and forth with someone and you're not making good points and your logic doesn't add up. And then you look at the person because you're getting frustrated and you say, well, you're just stupid. No, the other person isn't stupid. It's just you don't agree with their opinion. Doesn't mean they're stupid. Doesn't mean they're racist.
Imagine if we lived in a country where that was an issue politically. Oh, wait. Okay, never mind.
Right. So with that, Shedeur Sanders is the 3rd string quarterback. I hope he plays. I hope he plays well.
Yeah.
Again,
I hope he plays, and I hope he plays. I think Shedeur Sanders will find a good home in the National Football League. I think that he will get a chance to play at the highest level in the NFL at some point. He has, as just about any rookie quarterback does, work to do. He seems to be gladly doing the work. Anytime.
And you know what? I'm going to give Bruce. I'm going to give him credit. He is handling this beautifully. Every time he's up at the podium, at the very least, he says the right things. Good on him. I've heard people suggest in the media he should demand a trade. What? Demand a trade? Yeah. He was a 5th-round draft pick. Every team had 4 cracks at him.
Right.
And now he's going to go in and demand a trade. That's going to fuel the fire if he walked in there and demanded a trade of, who in the hell does this guy think he is? That's going to make it worse.
Just go out and keep proving yourself.
Right.
Go out and play. And we have never said anything other than this guy is a smart guy. He's got a good football IQ. He's a very bright young man.
Yep.
He's getting it. He's figuring it out. It's all about the performance, period. This is the NFL. Do you make me a better team? Period.
Yeah, but Bruce, the argument is Bruce. The argument is this:
take care of that, and it'll all take care.
Bruce, but the argument is from those who are in his corner, and I'll come out and say it. I'll come out and say what other people have said to me, but don't want to say it publicly. The Sanders situation is a cult. Just is. It's a cult. They can do no wrong no matter what. Deion Sanders can walk down Pearl Street and shoot somebody in the face and people will defend him. How's that? How's that for being direct?
You know, the irony is about Deion Sanders is that I think that he probably understands the situation that Shedeur is in better than any person on the face of God's green earth. I think he knows exactly what Shedeur is up to. I think he knows exactly what Shiloh is dealing with right now in Tampa, trying to get a spot on this football team. And I think that he can be an extremely sage mentor to both of these youngsters. And as he is to all of the players in his program up there, about taking the next step and doing the things necessary at the next level. There is nobody that went out and proved it any better than Deion Sanders did. You know what?
Right.
That's the example that you need to follow.
Right. I'm rooting for this kid despite all the things I said. I just don't like all of the window dressing around the most important thing, which is the window.
Sure.
Not the window dressing. Yeah.
I get it.
Just go out and play, earn it. I want you to succeed. You played at Colorado. You did great things here. I have nothing against him personally. I didn't like the fact that I don't root for showboats. It's the simplest way to put it. I am old school. I am white man, get off my lawn. I am white man yelling at clouds. I am white man saying, I love what a black man did, which is Walter Payton. Act like you've been there before. Don't go running over to the student section after a win and start egging them on. That's the stuff I don't like. If you think I'm some old white guy, maybe I am. If that's the way I feel, that's my opinion. Just go out and play, and everyone will back you. But as soon as you start saying, look at me and look at my watch and look at what I did to you, that doesn't appeal to me. I don't care if you're black, white, or purple. I didn't like Johnny Manziel.
Right.
And oh, by the way, the last time I had my eyes checked, I believe he is still white.
I don't mind showboats as long as they back it up. Muhammad Ali was the greatest showboat of history, but he always backed it up. He was
different.
Respectful of the sport. He was totally different. He was a totally different kind of guy in a time and a place.
He was different in this sense. His personality, while genuine, obviously, his persona outside the ring was modeled after a professional wrestler by the name of Gorgeous George. He looked at Gorgeous George and said, this guy just riles up the crowd. If I do that, that will sell tickets. Yeah. That's why Muhammad Ali did what he did. It was about selling tickets, but then again, it was an individual sport. That's the difference.
Absolutely. But always backed it up. Always found a way to perform even beyond the hype.
Here, I'll give you another guy. I'll give you another showboat who, because he was so damn good, even when he did, you kind of had to take it because he was really that good. Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
Every time he got
absolutely,
he's high stepping into the end zone and doing all that. If you don't like it, stop him. But he was that good, you almost just had to say, you know what? I know he showboating, but I still have to appreciate how great that play was.
Yeah. And folks in CU and in that program are hoping that in a different kind of way, he can still deliver the same kind of thing, right? So
Right.
We'll see.
That's going to do it for us. Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. Thanks for joining us all week. We'll talk to you on Monday. Of course, we'll be talking about the final preseason game and the cuts that are about to come. Make it the best possible weekend you can.